Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, so let's solve this common interview problem. This interview problem is also like I already asked at least like many times, so many times, and I think it's very. I mean, it's not difficult, but people keep asking this question. So I want to make a video and make a record of this answer, and so that you guys has a reference. If you want to see more probability interview question, then you can click the list below. Okay, so the problem is that you have a stick. Let's say is one. Okay, let's say the length is one. Actually, it doesn't matter. And you're broken into n parts, right? So those broken into n parts. Okay, maybe so n should be greater or equal to 3. And ask what's the probability that then forms a closed polygon. Okay. So for example, you get let's say L1, L2, L3, L4, up to Ln. And then what you're asking is that how can one just make this connected and become a polygon? At least not need to be convex. Okay. Okay, so this problem is a famous question, has a simple version. So in order to get a general feeling, so what you should do in this kind of interview, that you should start from a simple case. Right? You ask whether n equals to 3, n equals to 4, and once you have solve these two problems, that you should be able to find a hint to the higher n. Okay, so let's solve n equals to 3, which should be trivial if you guys already have some background. Solve this problem. So let's say this is x, this is y, this is 1 minus x, 1 minus y. And in order to form a polygon, you need to have x plus y greater than 1 minus x, 1 minus y, right? Right, because let's say so it's like first length L1, L2, L3. So you must have L1 greater plus L2 greater L3, L1 plus L3 greater than L2, L1, L2 plus L3 greater than L1. This is called a triangle inequality. Okay, so you have this. So you have x plus 1 minus x minus y greater than y, and y plus 1 minus x minus y greater than x. Okay, so you can see that you get x plus y greater than half, and okay, and y less than half, x less than half. Okay, these are all the conditions that you need to do. So it's like okay, so let's see the answer. So answer will be trivial, right? Because now you have x and y, right? And there are so you need to, right? So x your condition is that 1 minus x, 1 is y, right? So this is your this 1, this is x plus 1 equal y equals to 1, right? This is your probability distribution because your x is random and y is random. So x plus y greater than half is this, right? Is this line. Okay, and this y less than half is this line, and the x less than half is this line. Okay, so all you can see is that the only condition, the probability that you have 3 equations, right? One is this one. Sorry. Let me just click this. Okay, so this one is x plus y greater than half, equals half, and this is x equals half. This is y equals half. So your y need to be less than half. So it's a lower, and then your x is lower, and then your x plus y greater than half is upper, right? So this is the region. Okay. So what is the answer? The answer will be 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you have 4 regions, and then only this red region can be a triangle. Okay. Okay, so this is like the simple case, n equals to 3 case that I guess is trivial, that all you guys that I mean, if you heard any of like interview question, that you should be able to solve it. Okay, so let's solve n equals to 4. And once I solve n equals to 4, that I can directly go to the higher or the results. Okay, so let's I only do this once. Okay. So let's do this. So that's x, y, z, and 1 minus x, y minus z. And in a higher dimension, right, you have so-called Polygon inequality. Okay, so it's so-called Polygon inequality. So basically, in order to form a polygon, your any vertices, any lengths for particular lengths need to greater either less than sum of the rest. So j do not equals to p. Okay, and this can be proved by using the vector analysis. I mean, if you don't know that, you just remember this is true. Okay, so now what we have is that so we now have the key idea is that we now have 4 conditions. Okay, so it's L1, L2, L3, L4. So we have L1 plus L2 plus L3 greater than L4, and L1 plus L2 plus L4 greater than L3, and L2 and L1. So it's L2 plus L3 plus L4, and L1 plus L3 plus L4. Okay, so what we have is that so the first condition will give me x plus y plus z greater than 1 minus x minus y greater minus z, so which give me x plus y plus z greater or equal to half, greater than half. Okay, and then the next that L1 plus L2 plus L4, L1 plus L2 plus L4 is 1 minus z, so 1 minus z is greater than z, so which you get z less than half. Okay, then by symmetry, you have x less than half, y less than half. Okay, so the problem is very simple. You are asking that you're asking what's the probability distribution, what's the probability if you create a 3-dimensional object and this forms this 3 inequality. Okay. So this is just the test of your okay, so like this is, so you have this, right? This is your region. This is 1, 1, 1, and this region inside this tetrahedral is x plus y plus z. That's equal to 1. And then we have like 4 requirements. Okay, so notice that comparing the 2-dimensional case, right? We have three requirements. So in this case, we have 3 requirements, right? And then in this case, we have 4 requirements, which is x plus y plus z greater or equal to half, greater than half, and then x less than half, y less than half, z less than half. Okay, so you can imagine that you have this your small region, half, half, half. And you also have this s less than half, right? So if sorry, so yeah, s less than half, right? So you have s less than half, which is this one. Okay, and the y less than half, z less than half. Okay, so what's the result? Okay, so result is the same as you have the total tetrahedron, total tetrahedron minus 4, right? You can see that there one region you need to minus, this region you need to minus, this region minus, and there is a region that that close between this, right? Close between this. It's like this one, right? You have this region. So you have this region, right? You need to minus. So this it's not this, but there is a region that this inside one you need to minus. So you have minus, you need to minus 4. So I hope you guys see why there is 4, right? Upper one, this one, and also the original, the point that contains origin. Okay, so minus 4 small tetrahedron. Okay, and then this small tetrahedron is the same as the whole tetrahedron, but with length half. Okay, so if this length is 1, then this tetrahedron will be half. Okay, so the volume of this will be 1 divided by 6. Right, tetrahedron, the volume of tetrahedron minus 1 divided by 6 times 1 divided by 8, right? Because this is the scale is just half. And then times 4, right? We have 4 equations. Okay, divided by 1 divided by 6. So V is just 1 divided by 2. So it's half. Okay, so this is like for the 4 dimension. So for n equals to 4. Okay, so for n equals to 4, we get half. Okay, so how about generate? Okay, should be simple, right? So we have like x1, x2 up to up to 1 minus x1 minus x2 minus xn minus 1. And then let's write down all the relation. So our relation will be x1 plus x2 1 minus x1 minus x2 minus x1 n minus 1 plus this xn minus 1 need to greater than this. This will give us that x plus 1, x2 up to xn minus 1 needs to greater than half. Okay, and then the rest, the equation is very simple. You get x1 need to be x1 need to be less than half, and x2 need to be half, xn need to be xn minus 1 need to be less than half. Okay, so the answer will be just the volume. Let's say if you want to me to define many very rigorously, you can say say V is a set. That's not using V. Okay, that's using delta n. So delta n is a set. Delta n minus 1 is a set, which is x1, x2 up to xn minus 1, or x1 plus x2, xn minus 1 less than 1. Okay. So the answer will be the volume of volume of delta n minus 1 minus the n equations, right? So n equations. And I just showed before, each equation will produce the same shape as delta n minus 1, but with scale half, right? So it's a scale half, right? So let's write down the answer. So the probability will be the volume of delta n minus 1 minus volume of delta n minus 1, but divided by 2 to the n minus 1, right? Because each one is half, and then you are in the n minus 1 dimensional object, okay? Times n, right? You have n constraint. And then divided by volume of delta n minus 1. Okay, so that's okay. So the answer is just 1 divided by n, 2 to the n minus 1. Okay, so this is a common interview question that people like to ask. Okay, so this is the solution. So I think in a usual in a interview, right? If you're starting, if this is first time, I mean, it's very difficult for you to find this way to directly solve it, right? But if you like you have 1 hour, like 2 hours, then you can use your mathematics, right, and then write everything on the paper. Then I think you have a higher chance to solve this problem. If you like mathematics, then it should not be so difficult. Okay, so yeah, see you guys next videos. Hope you guys subscribe to my channel.